Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to Adventures of the Broken Retired. I'm your host for today, Don, and me, along with my trusty friend Elmer the Remote, will try to keep you entertained and entertained. I don't know what to say. We'll try to keep you entertained with stories. How about that? That'll work. Today is it's Sunday morning, by the way. It's August 10th, Sunday morning, August 10th, 2025. When I sit down to make these videos, I don't necessarily have a whole lot in mind, and I don't do anything really scripted or anything like that. I don't want it to, I want it to just flow on its own, just kind of come naturally. Sometimes I'll make some notes to look at just so I don't forget to put some points in, because sometimes I'll get past where that point would have made sense, that I have to start backtracking. But either way, so I just sit here and do what I do. I've had the comments again have been fantastic. I went through them this morning, answering as many as I could, and thank you so much for your comments. I really, really do appreciate it. I've had wonderful luck here, and it's been a lot of fun. I've had some people write in the comments, hey, I see there's stuff all over your walls. And one person said to me one day, you ought to do a story about what's on your walls. So I figured today, hey, why not? I don't know exactly for sure how much of the wall you've seen in the past. I know for the most part, it's been what you're seeing right now. But you see that spot right there? I don't know if you've ever seen that there's actually something missing there. I don't know if that was included in the picture. I took it down because that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to show you a picture. Now, I got to hold it up in front of the camera because I still have no editing. So I'm going to try to get rid of the glare. So I'll show you the picture. We'll go from here. You ready? All right. You see that picture? That would be a picture of my mom and dad. I am a motorcycle guy because my dad was, and so was my mom's brother, and they hung out with motorcycle people. That was taken in England aboard my father. I believe that's his 29 Norton. I can't say for sure. I heard a lot of stories about that motorcycle as a kid, and I hadn't really planned on putting this story in, but I'm gonna tell you. Let me tell you the story. My dad would come pick my mom up on his motorcycle, and it would be fairly common. I don't know, British bike. Can you imagine? It would be fairly common for them to have trouble with the bike. And my mom told me one time she was so mad at my father because going downhill, they were riding home and they hit a puddle of water. And after they hit that puddle of water, excuse me, gotta love that pause button just for that. Anyway, after they hit that puddle of water, the bike would run absolutely fantastic downhill, but it wouldn't run uphill. They couldn't get it to go up the hill, so they'd have to push it up the hills, and then they could ride it down. Kind of surprised they ended up staying together, but they did, and they were married. Well, they're still married now. My father passed away 25 years ago, but they were married when he did. Anyhow, the reason I'm bringing this picture up is because I'm very, very proud to have it. As a kid, now I knew that there was a couple pictures around of my father on motorcycles. I'd never seen a picture of my mother and father on a motorcycle. And the reason that I'm bringing this up is because there's 5 kids in the family, and one of them, my youngest sister, there's 3 older than me and 1 younger. My youngest sister has become the kind of by default or just naturally become the keeper of the photos in the family. And she found this. I have no idea where she found it. I had never seen it until she sent it to me. And she sent it to me all framed and all ready to go. And I really, really appreciate her for that. I know I'm assuming she does it for everybody. I think she gets copies made and keeps the originals. She gets copies made and sends them off to other family members. And I've gotten several from her over the years, and some of them have been very, very sentimental, like this one. Where else are you gonna? I mean, it's a picture of your parents before they were your parents, when their last names were not the same. Riding around on a motorcycle, no helmets, of course. I think at best they may have had leather helmets back then. But this is where this background is where my motorcycle life. Oh boy. Uh, I was kind of stumbling a little bit, kind of figure out where to go with this, and then just like Barney and Ed being on the money, things pop into your mind. Not only was I a motorcycle guy, sort of still am, but my brother as well. I have one older brother, and my brother was as well, and he was always an old British motorcycle freak. He had Triumphs. In fact, up until just a few years ago, he had Triumphs. Anyway, when I was a kid, I don't remember how old I was. I don't think I was old enough to drive yet. I think we were bicycle kids. I did have a dirt bike. But when we were kids, my brother had a 500 Triumph, a blue 500 Triumph. Now, little sister, I hope you're listening, watching, whatever, to hear this. And brother, I hope you look back upon this situation, this whatever you want to call it, as funny. So he had a Triumph 500 Twin. I'm pretty sure it was a 500. It was blue, had high pipes, and I had a friend named Mike. You remember this? I had a friend named Mike who wanted to ride it. I mean, he wanted to ride my brother's motorcycle. He wanted to ride it, and so finally, my brother told him if he cleaned it real good, he'd let him ride it. So, man, my buddy, he got busy with cleaning that motorcycle. Sit tight 1 second. So, man, my buddy, he got busy with cleaning that motorcycle. And when I tell you, he did a really good job. He really did a good job. And then came the moment. And in my father's driveway, pointed towards the street, I come walking out of the garage, and there's my brother, Roger. Mike, my buddy Mike, is sitting on the bike. The motor's running. And there's my brother Roger. I couldn't hear what he was saying over the sound of the exhaust, but he's, you can tell. They're pointing out shifter, brakes, clutch, throttle, that kind of thing. And Mike reached down and dropped it in gear and let the clutch out, spun the wheel out in the driveway, went into the neighbor's yard, went right through the middle of this bush that was about 4 or 5 feet around and about 2 feet tall, right through the middle of it, across the sidewalk, down the curb, and bumped into the curb on the other side of the street right by the guy's mailbox, and the motor stalled, which was a good thing. And behind him, through his entire, 100 feet ride, was my brother chasing after him, arms flailing. Like it was really funny to watch my brother like that. And I was just standing there innocently watching it happen. I think Mike wanted to try again, and my brother chose not to let him, which is a good thing. I'm glad that happened. Which reminds me of another story, by the way. I had a friend of mine. I had a Honda SL 125. It was an Enduro. Again, they call them dual sports now. It was an Enduro. And it was street legal. It came with lights and stuff on it. I forget how old I was. I was old enough to drive, evidently, because I was, that might not apply. So I was about driving age, I'd guess. I was in high school, I know that. And I'm out riding around town on my little 125 one day, and I decided to pass by my friend Steve's house. So I passed by over there and stopped, and I'm, pull up on the motorcycle, and Steve is all impressed. That was a nice little bike, and Steve was all impressed. He's looking at it, and he's like saying how nice it is, and da 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 da, and and then he asked me if he could ride it. Well, as a motorcycle guy, having these kinds of experiences, the experience of my brother letting Mike ride, and of me letting this guy Steve ride, and of myself, which I'll tell you about in a minute, because that's another one that comes to mind. Myself riding Pat's 250 Triumph. You learn what you learn over the years is don't ever let anybody ride your motorcycle, no matter what you do, no matter what they say, no matter who they are. If they didn't come to your house on their motorcycle, they ain't riding yours. And as a good motorcycle guy, you never ask somebody else if you can ride theirs. I just find that as standard procedure rules. We got to break this up into two pieces. As usual, it's rolling on. I'm at Steve's house on my 125. I'll keep that in mind. I'll try to remember that. I've got my buddy here, Elmer. This is Don with Adventures of the Broken Retired. Going to go in. This is the end of part one. I'm going to go into part two here in just a second. Don't go anywhere. Please subscribe, like, and share if you think you have friends that might want to watch these videos. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you're made aware when new videos come out and you don't have to go digging for them. They're easy to find. All right, Elmer, take us out. Elmer, me and you will have to have a talk, brother. You got one job, dude. You got one job. Well, two jobs. Start the camera, which actually you don't do so bad at. But turning it off, you're not doing so well. Tighten up.